Prime Minister Honorable Siti Venirambuka returned to mainland China, marking his visit 30 years after his first trip to the country. This visit was made in response to an invitation extended by the President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping. The visit by Prime Minister Mbuka and his delegation was aimed at highlighting the areas where China has made significant advancements, particularly in poverty eradication, technology, shipbuilding, ports, agriculture, and fisheries. The visit began in Yunnan province, which consists of 16 municipalities, 129 counties, and a population of 46.73 million. The province covers an area of 394,000 square kilometers, sharing with Myanmar, Vietnam, and Laos a 4,060-kilometer boundary line. Honorable Siti Venirambuka began with a tour of Pinganpo and Nanyo villages in the Malipo County. Here he observed firsthand transformative and innovative solutions being implemented to improve local livelihoods. The Fiji delegation received a briefing on the village development over the past 32 years. Initially, the villagers were in a state of poverty, but they have since made significant progress. This progress is attributed to advancement in agriculture, aquaculture, and the production of niche products such as traditional food, weaving, and crafts. These improvements have significantly enhanced the livelihoods and overall standard of living for the people here. China has implemented a series of extraordinary policies and measures, establishing a comprehensive system that encompasses a policy, work, and institutional framework. This has paved the way for a unique poverty reduction path and contributed to the development of anti-poverty theory with Chinese characteristics. China's poverty alleviation policies, which are rooted in both theory and practice and tailored to its national conditions, offer valuable perspectives and practical references for other countries and regions in their fight against poverty.
The speed with which they have caught up with the rest of the developed parts of China, particularly under their poverty alleviation programs. I was very impressed with the pictures they showed me of the village in 1992 and the picture and what I actually saw of the village today. That is 32 years. I was Prime Minister of Fiji in 1992, and I'm Prime Minister again now. But nowhere in Fiji have we seen any improvement to be close to what we have seen here. So I congratulate the leaders, the Chinese leaders of the past, particularly the current president, President Xi, for the work that he had done at that time in his own political development and his vision to concentrate his efforts, his political efforts at the time, to alleviate poverty and to raise the standards of living of the people of China, particularly those disadvantaged areas where the minority ethnic groups live.
Prime Minister Rambuka expressed his admiration for China's poverty alleviation strategies, noting that Fiji can learn a great deal from China's success in improving the lives of millions.
For me, it's an eye-opener in the sense that we thought we were doing our poverty alleviation and regional, rural, and outer island development programs well. But when you look at the scale and the leaps and bounds that China has taken over the same period, when I came into politics in '92, and what I see here now, what I see in Fiji now, it's really amazing. And we have a lot to learn, and I have been making a lot of notes since I arrived on how we might be able to turn the little things in the villages into big things in the provinces and the nation.
The leader of government praised China for its effective prevention of the intergenerational transmission of poverty, highlighting that the most valuable insight for Fiji is China's proven experience in poverty alleviation.
There is a basic requirement. It's communication or contact. We will not be able to bring development to the rural areas if we do not have a good lines of communication, meaning roads, and also technology for telecommunications and data delivery to the villages. I believe we are well into e-commerce, which we are lagging way behind, not only in China's standards, but also internationally. Those are the areas that I feel we can really do a lot in the next 2 years that's left for my government until we get to election. But we must do something to start the ball rolling and point the nation in the right direction for future governments to follow suit.
Prime Minister Rambuka highlighted the existing disparities between rural and urban areas in Fiji, drawing a parallel to similar challenges in China. In his presentation, he also acknowledged President Xi Jinping's path to national leadership, particularly recognizing his efforts in alleviating poverty through active engagement and initiatives throughout his career progression.
We have the same problems you have. There is a disparity in the quality of life and standard of living in some of our rural areas compared to the urban areas. And then there are also disparities between the urban areas and the rural areas. Some in the rural areas are living a much better life than those in the urban areas, while some in urban areas living a better life than the rural areas. So there is poverty alleviation programs to be carried out in both areas, in the rural areas as well as the urban areas. It may be easier to carry out these programs in the rural areas because people are still communal, and like we have seen in the visit we had yesterday, and we are very much encouraged by what President Xi has done on his way up to be the national leader. Our problem perhaps is that our national leaders have gone up career paths as soldiers, as teachers, as academics, and then they become as national leaders. Whereas President Xi has gone up a career path through people relationship.
Ning'ai Fishing Village, located in the province of Fujian, is nestled between mountains and the sea. The village consists of two natural communities with a population of 1,153 residents across 321 households. Due to its unique geographical location, the villagers have traditionally earned their livelihoods from the sea, primarily through marine aquaculture. The villagers have established a demonstration zone for fish farming, complemented by a row of houses along the coastline. This creates an idyllic scene of well-organized and vibrant fishing village set against the backdrop of mountains. Today, Ning'ai Village is home to 3 marine aquaculture demonstration zones, which have become lucrative ventures for the villagers. Over the past 3 years, the villages have undergone a remarkable transformation, evolving from a hollow village into a thriving community that now generates over $1 million in economic income.
Poverty alleviation, and today we were blessed with a visit to your aquaculture and sea culture, fish culture facilities. They've been a big eye-opener for us because we take the sea for granted. We take fish wild in the habitat for granted. We have never really had to seriously think of replenishing fish stocks now that the world is getting obsessed with the effects of climate change. We're going into those, and we are way, way behind what you have done here. So today was a great eye-opener for us, and we are very impressed. We will go back with those ideas to impress upon our fisheries ministry, fisheries department, and all those that are involved in fisheries at home.
The visit to Ningai village has been an eye-opening experience for the Fiji delegation. Many coastal communities in Fiji could draw valuable lessons from the successful case study of poverty alleviation.
The emphasis of the places where we visited have been your program of poverty alleviation, which has been remarkable. What we saw in aquaculture today brings home to us the old Chinese saying: you give a man a fish, you fed him for the day. You teach him to fish, you fed him for the rest of his life. But then, if we were all eating fish, we would run out of fish in the wild. And we now have seen you restocking the fish stocks with your aquaculture, your fish culture. And that has really meant a lot for us. We have been giving money for poverty alleviation. That's like giving fish to a hungry man, just feeding him for the day. We will be looking back and asking for expert advice as we navigate our own journey in poverty alleviation at home.
The port of Xiamen is one of China's key coastal ports, playing a vital role as a central hub in the country's comprehensive transportation network. It is a major container port, a prominent cruise port, and an important gateway for exchanges across the Taiwan Strait.
As an island nation, I was so impressed with what we saw with the port facilities today and the big leaps and bounds in technology that have gone into the handling of such intricate and complicated operations as the handling of ports and the container movement on the port that we saw today.
During his visit to China, after 3 decades, Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka acknowledged the rapid pace of development and improvement the country has went through. According to the head of the visiting delegation, Fiji's relationship with China has enjoyed a period of fruitful association, with Fiji benefiting significantly more from the partnership than China.
In the last few days, I have witnessed how much your former villages, they were formerly impoverished villages and societies and communities. But because of the great efforts put in by the current President, Xi Jinping, in its earlier days of leadership in CCP in the areas that I visited, the people and the areas they live in have grown, and the people are much, much happier and healthier and wealthier than they were 32 years ago.
China continues to stand by Fiji, providing assistance aimed at benefiting communities that have been largely overlooked in past years. One notable example of this support is the infrastructure development in Vanuatu, which will greatly improve the region's connectivity.
The infrastructure development is amazing. When I look at your roads, when I travel via your bullet trains, fast trains, the airports that we landed in, all the infrastructure that we have seen have been amazing. And we are really looking forward to the cooperation between our two countries, your great country and our little country, in the cooperation that we will benefit from in the infrastructure development in Fiji. We would like to emulate the land and maritime connectivity that have happened here through and other parts of the world through the Belt and Road Initiative. For us in Fiji, we will also benefit this time to the tune of 82 kilometers on Vanuatu. That is the island I come from. We're going to benefit from that part of your assistance with the development of the island I am from.
On the final day of his visit, Prime Minister Rambuka met with President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall in Beijing. President Xi warmly received the Fiji delegation before the two leaders proceeded to a bilateral meeting. During the discussions, both sides reaffirmed their ongoing efforts to contribute to making the Pacific region and the world as a whole a more peaceful place to live.
The meeting in San Francisco was warmer, although we were meeting after the beginning of the conflict in the Middle East. And I must congratulate you on your efforts to try and bring sense to both sides of that conflict. You will remember, Your Excellency, my remarks on the Thursday when we had the final summit in San Francisco. On Wednesday evening, we had that mayoral reception, and then there were fireworks. At our meeting on Thursday, I mentioned that I thought we were celebrating that you and President Biden had 4 hours of talks on the Wednesday afternoon. And I thought we were celebrating that in the 4 hours you might have achieved peace for the world. And I was encouraging you two great leaders to work on peace. And as you know, Your Excellency, it is my project now in the Pacific to propose the Ocean of Peace concept with my fellow leaders in the Pacific Islands Forum. And I had mentioned this to you, to Your Excellency, when we previously met. And you were very supportive of the idea.
Before meeting with China's leaders, Prime Minister Rambuka had planned to observe firsthand the development and progress China has achieved over the past few decades. He sought to understand the country's remarkable transformation, particularly its rapid advancement in infrastructure, technology, and economic growth. Prime Minister Rambuka aimed to gain deeper insights into the strategies and innovations that have driven the nation's success. This would also provide a solid foundation for meaningful discussions with Chinese leaders on strengthening bilateral ties and exploring future areas of cooperation.
I think that the objective was to see as much of the reality of China before I got to talk to the leaders. Otherwise, it would have been just a courtesy call. You know the right things you want to say to the leaders. You do not want to offend them. And many visits, such as the one I have been on, are really begging trips. In my case, I have not asked for anything, I have not demanded anything, and I have just confirmed to him that we appreciate very much what he has done and the role that China plays in the world today. There have been some MOUs that we had agreed to, and they were signed yesterday by the officials, and we are continuing to receive assistance in the improvement of our infrastructure. They have some road developments on Vanua level, the second largest island in Fiji, and that's where I come from. And we had been left behind in a lot of the national development because of the attitude of our chiefs. Our tribal chiefs at the time said, no, let the others be developed first. We can manage. And we have managed. We managed very well. Traditional leadership served us well over those years. Now that we have time, we have assistance, we can now go and develop our island.
However, Prime Minister Rambuka had set specific areas of focus for his visit, choosing not to merely follow in the footsteps of a large, developed nation like China. Instead, he emphasized the importance of identifying practical areas that could directly benefit Fiji's unique needs and circumstances.
Where there is a national will, it can be achieved at our own relative pace. Right now, none of the islands would like to have all these nice things that you have in China. But we would like to have good education, good drinking water, all the things that the Sustainable Development Goals promote. We want to do that at the scale which is applicable to the number of people we have on our island, considering our resources, natural resources, and capabilities.
Fiji and China have a mutual understanding of their differences, and according to Prime Minister Rambuka, they both share a commitment to the harmonious resolution of disputes without resorting to force. This approach aligns with Prime Minister Rambuka's vision for the Pacific region, a vision of an ocean of peace where cooperation and dialogue prevail over conflict. He is of the view that both countries value peaceful coexistence and respect for each other's sovereignty, and this shared principle strengthens the foundation of their relationship.
Mutual respect, respect for our differences, and cooperation in our similarities for the development of those areas. I believe we should understand our differences, as I said in response to one of your earlier questions, and work on our differences. And one of the principles of peaceful coexistence that's developed by the great Xi Jinping himself is the harmonious resolution of differences. And we do not use force or the threat of force to make a point. And they are all in line with what I have in mind as I propose the ocean of peace. The Pacific has suffered a lot in the world wars. We have suffered in the testing of some of the most dangerous weapons known to man. And now we would like to put all those behind us and develop an ocean of peace.
Prime Minister Rambuka made it clear that he does not want Fiji to be drawn into conflicts between countries with differing views, as such actions are not aligned with the Fijian way. He maintains that Fiji values peace, neutrality, dialogue, and that the nation seeks to maintain strong, respectful relationships with all countries without becoming embroiled in disputes that do not directly concern its interests.
I do not want to be drawn into that because we are friends with China and we are friends with others who may not be so friendly with China. That's not my worry. It's not our worry in Fiji. Our worry is that we have good cordial relationship with China, one of the great powers of the world. And if others do not like that and want to alienate us because of that, they're free. We can still get what we need from China. If they cut us off, we will survive.
The visit to China by Prime Minister Honorable Siti Venirambuka proved to be a fruitful one, as he gained valuable insights from the country's various development policies and advancements, observing China's remarkable progress in areas such as infrastructure, technology, and poverty alleviation. The Prime Minister believes these lessons can help in strategic planning and innovation that could in turn drive national growth. This, he believes, will help guide Fiji in tailoring its own development approach while drawing inspiration from China's successes.